my name's Eva and welcome to this channel. Today we are talking about 3 ways that you can figure out if you are good in bed. But before I get into these 3 signals, ways, strategies, we need to break down this idea of being good in bed or being able to tell if your partner is enjoying yourself. And there are 2 main things that we need to talk about: consent and the idea of goal-oriented sex, i.e. why I have specified without there being orgasms or measuring it in orgasms. So let's do it. So let's start with consent. How do you know if your partner is enjoying themselves? You need to be communicating and being aware of their verbal and nonverbal signals. So in addition to the 3 tips that I'm going to be giving at the end of the video, you can make everything a whole lot clearer by asking them, how are you doing? What would you really love to do right now? Do you want me to go faster or slower? If you are verbally communicating these things, you can figure out exactly how your partner is feeling, exactly what they want you to do, and how much they are enjoying themselves. A tip in addition to this is one that I learned from the amazing YouTube channel, What's the Safe Word, is to ask your partner what their reaction will be if they're having a really good time. So let's say, for example, that your partner, before they're about to have an orgasm, they get really quiet and still, and you might be expecting them to get really loud and moan and move around a bunch, and you might get worried that you're not doing a good job. But if you had that conversation, then you would know that you are actually doing an amazing job. Now that we've talked about consent, let's move on to goal-oriented sex. Or what I mean when I say, how can you tell if your partner is having an awesome time without measuring their pleasure in orgasms? This is because having a certain goal that you want to achieve, certain things that you want to check off during your sexual encounters, might not necessarily be super helpful. This is because when you do that, that can create some stress and anxiety around feeling the need to perform to that expectation. In addition to this, if you've set yourself this checklist or this goal or this certain number of orgasms that you need to achieve and you don't meet it, you might end up feeling like a failure, you've let your partner down, and that might stop you from having an awesome sexual encounter otherwise, besides the number of orgasms, as well as it might stop you from initiating in the future. So my end game here is to get rid of the idea of goal-oriented sex. Even though it can be awesome to have the sexual fantasies and experiences that you want to explore, it isn't helpful for you to have your best sex life or for you and your partner to have the best experience possible if you have a checklist of goals, and if they don't happen, then you can't have sex. So if orgasms don't happen because you're on a new medication, your sex drive's doing a thing, your body's just not feeling it, that's okay. You can keep going and having an awesome sexual experience or not. Or if you have a penis and it doesn't get hard, that doesn't mean that your sexual experience can't be awesome and you aren't good in bed. If you switch your mentality from a goal-oriented perspective of sex to a pleasure-oriented perspective of sex, it can really make your life better. Now that we've got all of that out of the way, Eva, do you really have 3 tips to know whether you're good in bed, or were you just lying to us the whole time? I was not lying. Here are 3 ways to know if you're good in bed, if your partner is having a good time. If they ask you to keep going, they tell you that what they're doing is awesome and they say they're having a good time. Also, if you're laughing and smiling and they're giggling with you, those are 3 tips to know that your partner is having an awesome time and that you are good in bed that are not related to orgasms. So that is the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and you feel more free and confident in your communicating and your ability to have awesome sex. Like this video if you like it. Subscribe if you aren't already. Comment down below what videos you want to see from me next. Also, I have a really cool thing called Patreon, which is basically like a virtual tip jar. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe at certain levels of Patreon so that I can keep these videos going. That's all for me today. Have a lovely day. And that is how you be good in bed.